Ruben Amorim, he has to be sacked. He has to be sacked, doesn't he? Welcome back to Football Heritage TV. Now, I am not a Man United fan, but as a football fan, I'm even starting to feel sorry for my mates who support Man United. I'm starting to feel sorry for the YouTubers I work with who have to watch Man U and the YouTube about them. I'm starting to feel sorry when I see their fans in the crowd. Now, that's mad because for years and years and years, everyone wanted the downfall of Man United. And there is that funny element to it. But how long can this madness go on at a club the size of Manchester United? To give some context, I'm sure you've all seen Man United have just been beaten 3-1 by Brentford. And it's not that they lost. It's that Man U look a shambles, like a shambles, a mess. And this is coming from someone that I backed Amorim. When he first came to this league, I said, I think he'll do well. I think he's a good coach. He'll turn it around. He needs a summer. He needs his own players. They'll get his identity. Boy, was I wrong. He is dreadful. He sits there. He doesn't change anything. And I'm not a fan of managers that don't change things. I'm not a fan of that. I think you've got to mold. You've got to adapt. You've got to tweak. You've got to have plan A, plan B, plan C. You can't just have plan A because if it doesn't work, you look terrible. And watching as a neutral, the game that I've just watched, I'm looking and I'm saying, are Man U any different from last year? They look dreadful. There doesn't appear to be any patterns of play. They look an absolute calamity at the back. They look an absolute calamity. Falling over, no one's marking. Passing out the back is slow and sloppy. The midfield two of Agate and Bruno Fernandes, it does not work. Bruno Fernandes needs to be in that 10. The fullbacks look completely devoid of energy, of ideas going forward, of urgency. And that front three. Now, Seshko, new to the league, has only played a couple of games. I'm not going to go deep in on him, but Mbeumo and Cunha look like absolute shadows. They look a shadow of what they were last season. They look like shells of men. They just look devoid of any kind of get up and go. And this, we're talking about two of the better players in the Premier League last season. And you just look and you think, how can a club keep a manager like this? Now, I'm not somebody that wants to see managers sacked after 5 games, 10 games. But I just heard a stat, and I don't know if this is true, but it sounds like it could be. I just heard a stat that Man U have won something like 33 points out of 99 available since Ruben Amorim has managed in the Premier League. And as I said, I can remove that banter and gutted Man United. I can remove that side to have this conversation. That is appalling. That is well and truly appalling. And right now, I can't see how they turn it round. Under this manager, I don't know how they turn this round. This is a man that will die on the hill for his formation. And the problem with dying on hills is its pride, its ego. It's not having that capability to look inwards and go, what I'm doing is not working. What I'm doing is not getting the best out of, well, all of them. What I'm doing is not producing results. And now, Man United, and sorry if there are any Man United fans that see this and are frustrated by me saying this, everyone used to fear Man United. Everyone feared them. God, Man U this weekend, oh, tough game that. Man U are coming to play, oh, I don't like playing Man U, they're good. Now, as the years are tumbling on, Man United are becoming so irrelevant. So irrelevant. Like, you don't look at them and go, United at Old Trafford, they're winning that. You look at it and go, oh, I don't know, they're in for a tough game today. Doesn't matter who they're playing. Doesn't matter if it's Brentford. Doesn't matter if it's my team, Spurs. Doesn't matter if it's City. Whoever they're playing, Man United now look an absolute shell of a football club. And listen, I'm not going to debate their ownership. That's for the Man United fans to debate. But whatever they're doing, whatever their thinking is, at the moment, it's a mess. And somebody just said, I'm not quite sure who it was, that someone was speaking on TNT, and they said that this isn't just the manager, this isn't just the players, this is systemic, this is the culture of Man United. And how can anyone disagree with that? For 20 years, United were a force to be reckoned with. And now I'm watching them, and they look like clubs that have just been promoted. There's no plan. There's no belief. There's no leadership. Their best player, Bruno Fernandes, in my opinion, is constantly played in the wrong position. That man is a number 10. I don't understand how anyone can't see that. And it's at the stage where, again, as I said, I could take my hat off as to who I support right now, just to have the football chat. As a fan of another club, we'll sit there and go, keep Amorim, right? Because you're a mess. But I'm going to ask this question, and I do think he should be sacked, by the way. But as a fan of a rival club, you do look and go, well, keep him, because you're not a threat under him. But I am going to ask this question. Ten Hag, Amorim, Moyes, Solskjaer, Van Gaal, Mourinho, Moyes. I'm sure I've missed somebody. Whoever I've missed. How are they all getting it wrong? Are they all bad managers? Is this truly showing us that it was Sir Alex Ferguson, that he was a genius, that he held this entire football club together for decades? Can one man leaving a club have such a long-lasting effect? He left a long time ago, and they've been a shambles since. Yes, they've nicked trophies. I'm not doubting that. But we had the whole, well, they're going to need a few years, aren't they, to life without Fergie. They're going to need a few years to adapt and change and mold, and then they're going to come back and be bigger than and better than ever. And they haven't. They haven't. By and large, in the last decade, the last 12, 13 years, however long Fergie's been gone, they just have not got any form of rhythm, stability. You don't ever look at them and think, yeah, they're building a nice team there. And they've signed good players. Not all of them, by the way, not all of them. But throughout those years, they've had so many good players that have come through the gates at Old Trafford. But they can't get it right. So what's the answer? What is the answer at Manchester United? Is sacking the manager alone going to be enough? Is the next manager a fall guy as well? I don't know. By the way, I'm not saying Amorim shouldn't be sacked. But what if the new guy comes in and he does this badly? Can I sack him as well? Sure. And I'm a believer that if managers do poorly over a number of months, games, yes, you've got to sack them. But the bigger picture is, how do Man United change this culture? How do Man United get themselves back? Because one of the conversations we always have as fans is, but it's United. United are a big club. Top players are going to go to Man U because they're a big club. Problem is, how long will that last for them? How long can they live off yesteryear? Now, yes, we know they can pay big wages. How long will that last? Because you have to be getting into Champions Leagues. You have to be getting revenue. And at the moment, this is a Man United team that aren't even in Europe. So they haven't even got Conference League revenue, Europa League revenue, let alone Champions League revenue. Then you've got the money for finishing in the top four. At the end of the season, you make loads of money. Not if you finish 15th, 16th, 14th, you don't. So where do Man United go from here? I'd love to hear from as many Man United fans as possible. Where are you at? I'll ask you 3 questions and I'll leave it at this. 1, does Ruben Amorim need to be sacked? And if so, how soon? 2, what else needs to change at Man United? Is it the coaching staff only? Is it the manager only? Is it the ownership? What needs to happen to change the culture for Man United to be a big club again? Now, yes, you're one of the biggest clubs in reputation in the world, but I'm talking about being a big club on the pitch. How do Man U get back there? Or don't they? Maybe they don't get back there. So listen, I'll leave it there. But what I would say is the first step needs to be Amorim going. But for me, the next manager that comes into this football club needs to be somebody like a Glasner or an Iriola. Dare I say, obviously not Frank, but of Spurs' version of Frank or Man U's version of Frank. It needs to be somebody that goes in there, rips it up from the inside out and says to the fans, I need a number of years to sort this mess out. I need to sort out the academy. I need to sort out the first team. I need to sort out the diet, the training. I need to sort out the directors of football and the strategy and the plan. That's what I think Man United need. But that's just me looking from the outside in. So I'd love to hear from more Man United fans and football fans in general. Yes, it's funny, and I know people will just laugh, but it's a very interesting discussion. So let me know your thoughts. I'll be back later tonight for a live watch along of my boys, Tottenham Hotspur versus Wolves, live from 6:30 for an 8 p.m. kickoff. Take care. Much love. And Ruben Amorim, I think you're getting that P45.